Do, 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 do. Are we live? Just give it a few seconds. You can all laugh at me during this time. Are we live? I think we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 23 now of Sundays with Craven, the live podcast where we always have a good old chinwag. I am very, very excited for this evening. We have a very interesting guest. We're going to talk about the military, we're going to talk about mental health, and of course, we're going to talk about metals. And you guys are going to be a part of that conversation. But first, before I bring in the special guest, I would like to see who has joined, who is here in the audience. Right now, off the bat, guys, I can see already 26 of you are here live. Thank you so much. If you can and you don't mind, hit the like button. It really does help. Let's see who is here. So, James Blessed, Baron Vampsky, BBA, the People's Champion, Scott M, Tridal, the Thoughtful Stacker, Ian, shout out to you really quick, mate. You hit 100 subscribers without making a single video. I was there for the premiere of your first upload today. Amazing job, mate. Well done to you. Crispy Shiny Thing, Shiny Silver, Robot Toaster, my better half, Miss Stacking with Craven, who just cooked me the most beautiful Sunday roast. Thank you very much. Joker's Wild, hey to you. Ray, Nemo's Numismatics, hey buddy, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Brits and Sobs, Top Geezer, Benson's Coins, thank you for joining me. Danny Millington, thank you. Working Class Stack, Sandy, the Millingtons are in the house. Queen Nessie, VB, oh, you're all here. Scottish Bullion Collector, Alan, thank you for joining, my friend. I opened a package off you today and it was absolutely brilliant. I did record it, so I will share that on the channel soon. Diaxis, the producer, he's in the call. He is on the live chat. He's absolutely everywhere, guys. And see if there's any more I've missed. I can't see any. As always, guys, if I've missed your name, I can see Electric Bloke. There you go. But if I have missed anyone's name, I'm really sorry. We'll be returning to the chat later on for the designated segment where you guys can ask your questions to our special guest. And I think this is about the right time to bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely honored to be hosting Stacks of Silver. How are you doing today, mate?
I'm very well, thank you, Craven. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. It's a Sunday, and I've been looking forward to this one. Thank you so much for coming on, and I can't wait. We had a good chat earlier on the phone. I can't wait to learn some more about you and your story. It's going to be a good one, and I think I've seen you tuning into a few of the episodes previously, mate. I really appreciate that. I think you know that already what's coming your way first in terms of a question. That would be from last week's guest, a brilliant guest, which was Dan from Cardiff Gold. And he left you a question, didn't he?
He did. Yes, I remember.
You do. So the question was, just to remind everyone in the audience, Stacks of Silver, what is your least favorite coin and why?
Okay, so I've had to think about this all day. It's quite hard to decide what my least favorite coin is because I like all the shiny coins.
Yeah.
If I was to choose one, and a lot of people are probably going to dig me for this, but I would have to say it would be the silver pandas. And
Okay.
the reason why I know the new ones now are only 30 grams and the older ones used to be 31.1.
Yeah.
But you're paying that high premium for a lower quantity of silver. And I don't understand the attraction to that. I can't physically see that myself, the attraction. So that's why I choose the panda.
That's a really good answer, to be fair. And I do have a Panda, but it's one of the older ones. So it was 1 troy ounce, 31.1 grams of
Yep.
fine silver. And yeah, they may have reduced it by just over a gram, but you don't see the price going any lower, do you? You're absolutely right.
Not at all. The prices, the premiums just keep going up and up and up. And it's, for that less amount of silver, you're paying more money. And I just can't see the connection there, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah, I think
But
there's
it is a beautiful coin. Don't get me wrong, it's a very beautiful coin, but yeah, not for me, thank you.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's a brilliant answer, and I share the exact same opinion as you. So that's the first question out the way. We've definitely had harder questions, but it's always interesting. And have a think, Stack to Silver, because as you know, I'm bringing this back at the end of today's podcast. I will be
Right.
asking you to leave a question for next week's special guest. So have a good think about that, okay?
The thinking cap's on.
The thinking cap is on. Now, before we go into the questions, because I've got a lot I want to ask about you, your story, your upbringing, the metals, all of the in between. I just want to say something to the audience. So, um, every week I am so lucky to be able to put on giveaways, and that's all down to you guys because people are so generous in this community. People send donations, poker chips, stickers, everything, metals. It baffles me how generous people are, and truthfully, thank you so much. But I'm going to be mixing things up, and what I mean by that is I'm actually not technically going to be doing a giveaway for a couple of weeks, but hold on there. So there's a reason why. I'm going to be building up to something quite big in December. It's a special time of the year for many. And there is still going to be Little John's Wheel of Wonder featuring. It's not going to be featuring once. It's not going to be featuring twice. It's going to be featuring 3 times today. And the way to enter is, of course, as always, wait for Diaxis at any point. You just got to be tuned in and keep your eyes peeled in the live chat. He will post a magic phrase for you to comment exactly as he's worded it, and then you will gain an entry into the wheel. We'll spin that wheel 3 times, and the winners will be entered into a draw for Craven's Christmas Cracker. There is going to be a big prize up for grabs, mark my words, in December. So if you want to be part of that, that's what you've got to do. I wanted to explain that early on. I'm really sorry if you're expecting a giveaway. That's not what this is all about. It's about having a good old chinwag, and that's what we're going to do right now with Stacks of Silver. So, are you ready for the interrogation, mate? My questions.
Let's go. I'm ready. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I would like to start at the very beginning with you because we had a brief chat earlier and I learned some things that I didn't know about you. And I want to learn more now with whichever information you're happy to share. I want to learn about your upbringing. I want to learn about maybe some of your work. And we will transition onto the metals and different things maybe a bit later on. Because yeah, let's start with your upbringing. What was your upbringing like? And just to add this in, could you lead that into where and when you moved into the military?
Yeah, of course. So I was brought up on a quite a rough council estate in Birmingham called Chelmsley Wood. Um, at one point it was the biggest council housing estate in Europe. Um, I was one of three brothers, hated school, very rough environment around the town and things like that. Um, it was difficult. It was difficult. I found myself getting into trouble, fighting quite a bit. Um, you know, staying out of school. Um, yeah, I'd done absolutely terribly in school. But I joined the Army Cadets at the age of 13.
Wow.
Um, and it was a Warwickshire-based regiment, and it was the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers. So that kind of hooked me then. I had that kind of purpose, attending every kind of Thursday, going on the annual camps, meeting lots of new people, learning new skills, and I could feel it kind of coursing through my veins, and it was like a light bulb moment, and I thought, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do for my career. I want to join the army, and I want to do this full time and see what it's all about. So at the young age of, I think, 16 and 9 months, I took myself down the Army Careers Office, went and carried out all the entrance tests and things like that. And a short few months later, I found myself on the train going to Cambridgeshire to ATR Basingbourne to start my basic training. And that was back in 1997. And that's where it all began, really.
That's so interesting to hear that. Would you say you mentioned obviously you were maybe not in school all the time, getting in a bit of trouble, maybe out a bit late at night. You didn't have that connection and want to be there at school, but did you mentioned a light bulb moment, which I love that phrase. Was there something that drew you in where you felt this is my purpose? Was there a specific draw to wanting to go and serve? And by the way, massive respect, mate, for doing that. I do want to say that. Did you feel like that was your purpose? That was really what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, through my school, I really, really struggled in school. I can't kind of, explain how much I struggled in school, and that was because of underlying diagnosis of dyslexia. So that wasn't kind of understood while I was in school. So I really struggled with that. And the thing that the Army cadets gave me was that structure and that discipline, and like I said before, that kind of purpose. You had to turn up absolutely immaculate, your boots polished all the time, dressed the same way. There was that uniformity, there was the chain of command and the hierarchy, and it all really just started falling into place. I started doing really well in the Army Cadets. I rose up through the ranks. People knew who I was. I was building a kind of name for myself in that small kind of environment of the Army Cadets. So that's where the light bulb moment happened, and it was like, right, okay, I really enjoy this. I'd like to go and see what the big boys do. So with the Army Cadets, we do a thing called Look at Life, and we spend a week away with a regular Army unit, and they take us around the barracks, they show us what they do day to day, they put on displays of certain weaponry and different tactics and things like that.
Yeah.
And it was the regiment that I went up to. I went up to a place called Catterick up
Okay.
North Yorkshire. I
Yeah.
went up to there, and it was the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers that was up there. It's the first battalion, and I was part of the Fusiliers as the Army Cadets as well. So straight away there was that connection. Um, Turned up at the camp, bit scary. All these big blokes that are hardened soldiers messing
Yeah.
about all this weaponry, doing 5-10 mile runs every day. Um, but it just felt like home, if you know what I mean. I felt like I belonged. And I was just in awe of all these big lads that were, they'd done operational tours, they've done the exercises abroad and things like that. And I thought, yeah, that's a bit of me. That is, I need a bit of that. So yeah, that's what encouraged me to push then to the Army Careers Office in Birmingham, and yeah, the kind of story started from there, really.
That's so interesting. I really appreciate you sharing this information here live on the podcast as well, mate. Thank you so much. And I'm going to just ask on this. You mentioned you were very successful and you felt like you belonged and stuff like that, and you were motivated with it. How was the training? Because you briefly touched on a few things there about people doing 5-10 mile runs. I mean, that's something in training. You're doing that like near enough every day, right?
Yeah, you're doing a form of physical fitness every single day through training. And it is very physically demanding. If you're not doing PT sessions, then that physical activity is incorporated into the type of training that you're doing as well. Um, so yeah, training was tough. Training was tough. So if you think about it, you're taking a group of young lads off the streets with no experience at all or very little experience. You are breaking that person down to a point that you can start them building them foundations of a soldier. It's a very aggressive process. Well, it was back in the time. It was a very aggressive process, but there was a reason for it. As an infantry soldier, you're trying to train that person to. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but you're training that person to go into battle and face the enemy. So you can imagine yourself that, bayonet training, physical fitness, um, section attacks, platoon attacks, things like that, tactics, all sorts of different weaponry. You become like a master at different types of weapon systems, um, you know, different tactics. It's just there's so much. I mean, I could pull out so many stories out the top of my head and tell you just about the training side of things. The training was that physically demanding that we almost lost people out on training exercises because of the physical demand that's required to get over these terrains with the amount of equipment and kit that you've got on your back. So yeah, it's very, very difficult, but enjoyable at the same time. You're learning new things about yourself all the time. You're learning about your capabilities. You're pushing yourself harder and faster than you had ever done before. And it's like it opens up doors for you. Um, yeah, really enjoyable time.
Does does the enjoyment come from, when you like it's certainly in those scenarios where you push yourself beyond where you thought you could go physically and you
Yeah.
achieve something that maybe you thought were impossible, and you're probably, I could imagine based on what you've described and some stuff I've seen about the training, you've got people shouting at you, telling that you're nothing, and this, and basically, like you say, breaking you down, and you've almost got to have that mindset of, no, I can do this. I'm going to prove you wrong, and doing things that most humans couldn't physically do in conditions that are awful. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's a mudslide, it does not matter. You can't have a sick day just because the weather's bad. And I repeat, and I just want to say as well, mate, whilst you've been talking, I have been looking at the comments as they've been coming through. I won't point out specific ones, but there's been multiple that have said, look, respect for you. You've got to be so mentally tough to do that. And moving on from the training side, you were in the military for, was it 15 years?
15 years in the infantry. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
during 50, that's a long time. The minimum service 4 years? Is that right?
Yeah, so minimum service at the time was 3 years from the age of 18. So if you join at 16 and 9 months, that first kind of year and a bit is service for the Queen until you're 18. So that doesn't actually count.
No.
So
Yeah.
by the time you get to 18 and do your 3 years, you've already done like 4.5 years almost.
Wow.
So, so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that really shows you haven't just done it for like the minimum term, which I respect anyone that does any time. You did it for 15 years, which is commendable. And an interesting question I would like to ask, I don't know how difficult this is going to be, but within
Mhm.
15 years of serving the country in the military, what's the biggest thing you felt that you learned from that?
The biggest thing that I learned is that the value of life around the world is very little. You see these places and you see how human life is valued in these places or unvalued in these places. Um, and it really kind of brings home to what humanity can do to each other, what humans can do to each other. Um, the world is a very scary place if you look at it from those places. Um, yeah, it's a strange one, yeah, but everywhere I seem to have gone in the military, you're always being told there's a threat here and there's a threat there, and you've got to watch yourself here. And you've got, even when you're back home in barracks, at your regimental headquarters or your battalion, you're being told, well, you can't go out in uniform because there's a threat out on the British streets. You can't do this. If you go out in a group with lads, one of you've got to stay sober, is what we used to call shark watch. So one lad would stay sober and he would watch out over the other lads while they were enjoying themselves drinking. Um, so yeah, it does put a bit of a dark twist on things. You know, yeah, it's hard. I don't want to go too deep into it because
No,
it's quite
I can
you
sense
know.
that you're trying to, and I can only imagine the things you've seen, and we don't need to go into detail, mate. But I can sense just by the way you're answering that you're trying to respond in a way that is, appropriate, I suppose, because I can only imagine what you've seen, and being a soldier, you see things that the majority don't see. So there is a reality there that most people won't be aware of, and look, it can be quite a morbid topic, but I appreciate you sharing it nonetheless. And once again, respect for, there's only a select few people that will go there to do that job willingly and for the time that you have. So I once again, I do commend you for that, and I'm sure you've learned so much in terms of skills throughout that time. You mentioned before a couple of words that I picked up on, which was, correct me if I'm wrong here, mate, which was discipline,
Yep.
purpose,
Yep.
belonging, and I think kind of routine as well with the regimented sort of structure you've got every single day.
Yep.
No excuses kind of thing. That's what you have to do. Um, those are valuable skills that I think would play a big part in what we'll move on to shortly, which is stacking. So I want to ask you, um, you mentioned your upbringing. I appreciate
Yep.
that in Birmingham. You obviously started in the military, um, very young age, 30, when you first went down that sort of route, and then you progressed and progressed. 15 years serving the country.
Yep.
Where, at what point here, just trying to build a timeline for the audience and for me as well, to learn more about you, where did stacking come into that? Did you stack precious metals before you were doing the military service, or was that something when you came out? Where did that come in, mate?
So, I mean, my stacking story is quite a long story. I haven't been stacking for that long. I've been stacking for a couple of years. I did not start stacking in the military. As everybody says, I wish I did start sooner. But
We say it
um,
every week, mate.
yeah, exactly that. But a couple of years ago, I started stacking. My stacking journey kind of started because I'd done my 15 years service in the military. 2012, I left. I left the military. I'd done numerous amounts of tours. I'd done Kosovo, Northern Ireland, Afghanistan. Got to a point in my life where I thought, right, the private security sector is absolutely huge at the moment, and they're paying absolutely big bucks. The salaries were like three, four times as much money as what you was earning in the military.
Wow.
So at 15 years, I decided to terminate my contract to go and do the private security sector. So while I was waiting to leave, I'd done all my courses. I went and done my maritime security courses. I went and done my close protection courses in Hereford with ex-SAS guys and SBS guys. Got all qualified up, went and done all my medicals. My time came to leave the military. And I think it was about 3, 4 weeks after I actually left the military, I had a phone call from one of my old teammates from the military. And he said, "Mate, are you qualified up and ready to go?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm all good." He went, "Is your passport in date?" "Yeah, it's all in date." He says, "I need team members for this next job I'm going on. Do you fancy coming?" So I thought about it for about 30 seconds, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm coming."
Don't
um,
blame you.
and I told the wife, I said, "Right, I've just landed a contract. I'm off." And she said, "Well, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to do maritime security. So I'm going to do anti-piracy. I'm going to go and stop Somali pirates hijacking ships." And she was like, "Right, okay." I went, she went, "When you're flying out?" And I went, um, "Tomorrow." And she was like, "Right, okay, you best
Yeah,
get your
about
kit back then."
that. I've got a plane to catch.
Yeah, yeah. So with that, I packed my kit together, got all my documents ready. The next day, I was down at Heathrow and I flew out to Kuwait, where I landed in Kuwait, met up with my mate at the airport. I had another oppo with an operative with us as well. We then jumped on a tugboat in Kuwait, kind of quay, kind of port,
Yeah.
and then we ended up sailing up to just past Djibouti on the Horn of Africa. And we jumped onto a petrol tanker then, and then we sailed all the way over to Sri Lanka, which took about a week. And that was my first kind of bang, there we go. We're straight into the private security sector. So yeah, I've done that first transit. Um, Carried on from there on. I'd done it for a couple of years then, and I was jumping from ship to ship, just going backwards and forwards, kind of all the way down to South Africa, all the way over to Sri Lanka, all the way up around the coast of kind of Iran and places like that as well. Yeah, and spent a couple of years doing that. Um,
You've seen, just to quickly add, you've done a fair bit of traveling. You've seen a lot of the world, haven't you?
I got a few stamps in my passport. Yeah, I have. I've seen quite a lot of places. Yeah, yeah,
Could I ask? I know with the nature of some of the operations that you've been on, some of it would be the wrong term to describe as beautiful, but just aside from that, with all the different countries that you've been to, and there must be so many, what was the most beautiful country? Just the country itself, scenically, which was the most beautiful?
honestly, I think probably Afghanistan. You've got such a different contrast of landscapes. One minute you're up to your ankles in kind of sand and rubble. The next thing you're through lush green zones, which are like packed full of greenery, bustling with life. And then the further north you go, you push up into the mountains, and it's such a vast range of different kind of like settings. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Um, yeah, and you have extreme weather as well. So you have absolute freezing cold at night, and then blistering like 45-degree heat in the day, and it's really strange country like that. But absolutely gorgeous place, absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful place.
And to be honest, I sort of echo what Villainous Bounty commented just to read that is that I mean I've never been, so what am I to know? But Afghanistan was not the first place that I thought you would actually say, so it's really interesting there to hear that, and that's kind of why I asked because you've seen so many different places for different reasons and different things, but yeah, that's really interesting, and these different climates and temperatures and conditions that you've been exposed to, that would take some adapting to. But yeah, that's really interesting. Now, the thing I thought there, and I've got to be honest here, you said you've been stacking for just over 2 years. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
And honestly, mate, I am looking at your backdrop, which is lovely, by the way. I can see the poker chips, the
Thank
stickers.
you.
There's a bit of metal there as well. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the right side. I can see, okay, there's some Britannias there. We like that. And then on the left, 2 years, a nice bit of gold you got going on there, mate.
That is a nice bit of gold there, and that there is a big story behind that, which I will get into. I'll just have to break myself into it gently. But
Yes, yes. I, uh, for me, and I want to hear that.
yeah,
I just wanted to pick up on the fact that you mentioned 2 years as to where stacking came in. We spoke about
yeah,
the military. Looks like you've got a really nice stack going on. Um, Before we move to the metals, more like focused on just that side, I want to ask you, if it's okay with you, um,
yeah.
being within the military and what you've done and the service you've done for your country will have had um, long-term effects on you. And I would like
Permanent
to,
effects. It's had permanent effects on me. Um, Look, I mean, I don't hide this. I done 15 years service in the infantry. I have been in numerous firefights. I've been in really scary situations, and it has had an effect on me with my mental health to the point where in 2016 I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. I did not know I had it up until 2016, but there was a big, long, spiraling kind of slide into darkness up to that point, to the point where I was on complete self-destruct mode. Um, my family was splintering apart because of my erratic behaviour. That I could not explain why I was acting that way. Just all I saw it was that I was a kind of old school squaddy who liked a beer and liked to fight, basically, and that was it. Um, so it got to a point where my wife turned around and she said to me, I cannot live like this anymore. She said, if you do not go and get some help, this was back in 2016. If you don't go and get some help, she said, I'm walking out the door. I can't deal with this anymore. So I took it upon myself to reach out for some help. As a bloke, I would not admit that there was something wrong with me. I was kind of oblivious to it. People had noticed before, my old colleagues from the military had noticed. Even from the point where I was just about to leave the military, I started to change and act differently. And yeah, it was kind of like a massive spiral effect. Once I left the maritime security and the private security contract, I found myself going from job to job, not being able to hold down a job. I was drinking excessively. I wasn't looking after myself. All mixed in with that, I was having flashbacks and nightmares of my time on operations, and excuse me. And I didn't know what was happening, and I didn't know what was going on. Everybody else around me could see it clearly. So it took me up to that point where I had almost wrecked everything in my life, for me to kind of pull my thumb out my backside and say, right, okay, I'm going to go and get some help. And I reached out to Help for Heroes, Hidden Wounds,
Yeah.
and they invited me down. We had a conversation on the phone. They invited me down to a big place in Tidworth, which was where I was based and where I kind of left the army from. Tedworth House, the place is called. I went there and I was assessed, and within half an hour, they were like, right, okay, we need to get you in and start getting you through some therapy and treatments because you're not well. And it kind of started from there. From 2016, I was in and out of therapy, talking therapy, trauma therapy, CBT, all different types of therapy, all different types of medication to help me sleep, and kind of bring me down from that kind of hyper arousal kind of phase. Um, yeah, I lost my chain of thought there, but
It's a lot, mate. I'll just step in briefly,
yeah.
because I don't want to interrupt you at mid-flow. I really respect you for opening up about this,
Mhm.
and it's something that I would. I've said this before. You mentioned it there. I encourage. It's for all people, men and women, anyone. But speaking just from a man's perspective, biggest thing is speaking up, and it can be difficult to do so. Actually, just asking for help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, so good
Yeah.
on you for doing that. And
Yeah.
what was it that you were talking about the therapies there?
Mhm.
What was it that pulled you through? Because we're here today talking to Stacks of Silver. You're stacking, you're doing what you're doing on TikTok, which, by the way, guys, brilliant on TikTok. I love your content on there, mate.
Thank you. Thank
But
you.
what was it at that point, if we just go back, what pulled you through that?
So the thing that pulled me through was my wife, to be honest with you, mate. I mean, the crap that I have put her through, I'm not proud to say that at all. Um, she has stood by me every single step of the way, no matter what I've done, and no matter how ill I've been. She has always been by my side, and she has always pulled me through. And without her, I probably wouldn't be here today.
It's it's yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure. Sometimes with words, it's yeah, the people around you, it's so important. It really
It,
is.
it, I know now from the years of living with PTSD, and my mood is up and down. It's like I'll explain it. It's a bit like a roller coaster, like a Big Dipper. There's a point where a couple of months you can be as high as a kite and everything is brilliant, and then it takes that one little trigger, and then all of a sudden you're on that downward, rocketing down to that dark place. I've been living with it now for over a decade. Well, yeah, over a decade. I can now identify when I'm starting to take that downward kind of slope. So I know now, after a decade of dealing with it, how to pull myself out of that kind of slope. And it's having that person that you can turn around and talk to. You were saying before, us blokes don't like to talk about our mental health and things like that. It's exactly the same in the military. Mental health it is probably nowadays in the military is kind of thought of as a right, we need to get that guy in now and get him looked at. Back in the days when you know, 2012, it was stop being a tit and get on with it. That's what it used to be. You just, you know, you're just a bit down. Go, let's go and have a few beers and let's crack on and get going. Um, you need to have somebody to turn to, somebody that is going to say, right, okay, I'll drop everything I'm going to do that I'm doing. Come and sit with me, and let's talk about it. What do you need to do? Do you need to go and see somebody? Do we need to book some appointments? Do you need a little break away from the environment that you're in? Do you need to kind of distract yourself from these triggers that you get in? Anything to change that environment that's dragging you down that kind of downward slope. Get yourself a good social network, a good trusted people that are going to drop everything at a hat when you push that button and say, I need some help. I need somebody to talk to. And for me, that is my wife. She can read me like a book anyway. We've been together over 20 years. Um, and I've got a couple of really good close mates that I know if I pick the phone up to them and say, mate, I'm having a really bad time, they will drop everything and they will be at my door.
Yeah. And that starts by, because we all have thoughts, we all have good days, we all have bad days. But like you say, you've got that close support network, you have your missus, you have good friends.
Yeah,
It starts with talking though, and I've tried to encourage this previously. And would you agree by saying the most important thing for people to try and do, no matter how difficult it is just talk to someone, just one person. And I've said this saying before, and I know it's a bit cheesy, guys, in the audience, but I do believe, truthfully, from my own experience, that a problem shared is a problem halved at the very
100%.
minimum.
100%. You know, even if it's changing the bit of chemistry in your brain to give you that bit of endorphin to make you feel better, it's better than sitting there wallowing in your own mind, in your own thoughts, and digging yourself deeper into that tunnel. You
It,
know, that one conversation can completely divert you away from that hole you're digging. That's how important it is.
it is. Communication is the biggest thing, mate. And listening to you speak and share your story since we've gone live today, yeah, it takes you back a bit. I was sort of lost for words before, you could tell. But I just want to reiterate, I really appreciate how open you are, and I think it's really credible when you have this, your story, what you've explained, what you've been through, and you're comfortable to talk here live, and other people who can relate to it in their own way.
I,
This is
I,
all an example of talking up, and I really respect you for that, mate.
I think, you know, with I now feel in a position where I should be helping people because I've been through the grinder. I know what them signs look like. I know what that journey is like. So if I can distract somebody from those intrusive thoughts or that thought of, I'm going to go and buy myself a piece of rope because it happens, then, you know, that's a win for me. That's making me feel good as well.
Yeah.
So that helps me along with the process with living with PTSD as well. You know, it might, you know, look, take stackers. So somebody who's been stacking 20 years knows a lot more about metals than somebody who's just started. So, you know, I've been living with that for a decade now. I think I'm pretty weathered to PTSD right now, to be fair. So somebody who's just started their journey of going through therapy and treatment and putting all paperwork in and stuff like that to try and get you know, certain benefits. Maybe they're out of work. Maybe they need you know, different prescriptions or different referrals to places, personal independence payments. I've been through all that, so I can help guide that person, and I can say, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is exactly how you're going to go through this process, but don't worry, you've got me at the end of the phone. I will be here to help you. That still now is my treatment. That's my therapy. That's me helping people. Is the way I feel good about myself.
Helping other people. Yeah,
Yep.
and that's it's lovely to hear for one, and it leads me to say when we talk about communication, talking to people, I
Mhm.
do just want to say for a minute that I and I know many others feel Very lucky and honored to be part of the stacking community. That is, majority of the audience here that are listening live. Yourself, you're part of Stackers Social, as am I. I have been since April. We have over 2,000 people, and I get to communicate and speak to these people. I've made friends in there every
Yeah,
single
yeah,
day, and there's so many people that are genuine good people.
yeah.
And like you mentioned about the door being open. I
Hmm.
would push the message that certainly for anyone out there, my door, my DMs, my messages are always open. And guys, I know there's been a lot of comments, some really nice supportive comments in there. I've not read them. We will move to the comment section later on, but thank you for all the positive comments in there off the back of what you were saying, Stacks of Silver. Um, and a lot of people saying the same thing, that their doors are open to messages. It's really nice to hear, and just a reminder for everyone that if you want to talk, there's people certainly in this community that are there for you. You are not alone, and
Yeah.
remember that. So yeah, that's important, and that's at a point where I'd like to move to, with all this in mind. Let's go to the metals, mate.
Let's
um,
go to the
these
metals.
experiences you've had, as I say, we've spoken in detail about the military, 15 years.
Hmm.
Spoke about the mental health. We spoke about lots of different things there. You started stacking just over 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and you've built up a nice stack. You've built up a following on TikTok. You do have a YouTube, which guys is below on the screen, but more so on TikTok. Um, yeah, are you 50-50 silver and gold? Let's start there because I can see a bit of both when I watch your videos.
Yeah, so I would say I am definitely gold heavy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I am gold heavy. Silver is catching up a little bit though, so I do need to rein the silver buying in a little bit. The wife keeps saying to me about bloody parcel through the door again for you, and I'm like, sorry, it's our retirement fund. But yeah, I am gold heavy. I look at gold as that pension pot at the end of, uh, uh, or that emergency, if we need it, we'll take it out.
Yeah.
We'll cash it in. But yeah, I do like my gold. I also like silver as well, as you can probably tell.
Where did you start, by the way? What was the
Okay,
first metal you bought?
so the first metal I brought, so a little bit of a story behind that. So I went through a long court case with the military about my PTSD. Um, it took 8 years to go through that court case, and I was successful at
Wow.
the end of it. Yeah, 8 years, and I was successful at the end of it. That meant that I got quite a substantial payout from the military, and I got really good pension as well. That's paid for life for the rest of my life, tax free. Um, so I had all this kind of money sat in my bank, and it wasn't earning me anything. It wasn't earning it decent interest. It was just sitting there, just kind of being dipped into. And I sat down and I spoke to the wife, and I was like, look, we really need to do something with this money. I can't have it sat there and we just dip into it when we want a holiday or we want to do this, we want a new car or whatever. We need to look at something to do. And I always remember one of the guys that I served with, every payday, so every month, he would go out and he'd buy himself either a Coup Grand or a Sovereign. And I always remember that guy, and I thought, yeah, that's smart. I like the way he's doing that. So I said to the wife, I said, right, okay, I'm going to invest some of my money into metals. I've done a load of research because I didn't know anything about gold or silver at the time. And I started looking about, and I took a chunk of money and I was like, right, okay, I'm buying a load of gold with that. So I went out and I brought a load of gold with this money. And I think I spent about 10 grand at the time.
Okay.
Uh,
And just quickly, was this? I'm just lining up the times because we know gold's
yeah,
done its thing. So this was just
yeah,
over 2 years ago.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, good time, by the way, to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And I look back at it now and I think, God, man, that was lucky that was, because the way the prices have gone up now, and it's like, that's a good thing. I'm still buying gold now though, even though the prices are going up, because I'll just keep adding to it each month when I can. And the silver comes through thick and fast, to be honest with you. I'm always like, oh, I like that. I'll have one of them, or I'll have another one of them. Um, just topping up the pension pot, really. Or it'll be for the kids.
Yeah, yeah, and it's I've asked this question to a few guests, which I always find really interesting, especially like sort of family man, people with families,
Yeah.
kids, and talking about your incentive for stacking long term. Do you have an exit strategy, or are you looking to leave a large portion of these metals stack for kids?
Yeah. So, as I said before, my kind of exit strategy, my pension is sorted, mate. My pension's never going to be taken off me. I will get that regardless. Um,
And so you should.
yeah, yeah. Which I'm very, very fortunate to have that to rely on. I also do work again full time, so I am bringing in a wage as well. So now I class myself as quite, fortunate to have that kind of two incomes coming in. So the metals that I'm stacking will go, some of it will go to my children. Some of it will be handed down. Some of it may be drawn out if me and the wife would like to go on like a once in a lifetime massive holiday or something. But, or she wants a Porsche that she keeps going on about. But yeah,
Well, that'll be more of
um,
the gold going missing than the
yeah,
silver, mate, for a Porsche.
absolutely. The kids can have the silver. But yeah, you know, probably 99% will be going to the children, to be fair.
Yeah, and
Um,
what better
I,
incentive
I,
to have?
you know what, I owe it to them because again, it's not just my wife that's been taken through the ringer. It's my kids have gone through that journey as well. So, if I can set them up later on in life with, I don't know, maybe money for a house deposit or just something to cushion it financially for them, then it's there for them.
Does Now you're a stacker for over 2 years.
Yeah.
You've got that built in by default now, that sort of discipline that we spoke about, that routine. You're also a
Mhm.
father. Do those responsibilities and habits, so we say, do they change the way you approach stacking? Do you think you make smarter decisions because of that? Do you think about these things more, or do you just buy as and when, just because you like this piece, this design, you know?
I mean, there is a little bit of that because you can't just stack the same thing financially minded. You've got to have enjoyment out of it as well. Am I right in that? Is everyone
Absolutely.
does everyone else feel that way?
I'd say
Um,
yes.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
definitely say yes.
yeah. So I do have like my Britannias. I've got I've got the 2026 Britannias. I got a load of them the other week. Um, and
Nice.
and then the prices shot up, which I was quite happy about. I've got a ton of Britannias, so that's all the CGT free stuff. But then, like my wife liked the RoboCop, so I got a little
Oh
RoboCop.
yeah. That's
um,
brilliant.
and then obviously there's the Silverpunk pieces. Um, I do like a Libertad, so there's a 5 ounce Libertad sat at the back there. Um, I'm a sucker for the St George and the Dragon as well because that was regimental for me as well. That was on my cap badge. So anything with George and the Dragon on, I love. So you can see the Valiant coin there, the 10 ounce Valiant coin at the back.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful piece of silver that is. And I'm a sucker for a crown as well.
Oh yes, I've actually. You know what? Here's one I prepared earlier. It might be blurry,
Yeah,
guys. Ah, you can just about
very
see.
nice. Very nice.
There we go. Yeah, but I love the crowns as well. Now, lots of lovely pieces there that you've mentioned. Do you have a favorite piece, a coin, a pour, any metal, right? Whatever form it takes. There are many different ways you can go. Do you have a personal favorite in your personal collection, mate?
I do, and I might sound a bit biased for it because he is a fellow Brummie, but I really do
Silverpunk.
like I really do like the silver punk stuff, and I've got a couple of pieces there. I am planning on adding to my collection of silver punk stuff because it's just there's nothing else like it out there, and the detail in it is just yeah, it just draws me, and it captivates me, and I really like his work, and he's got a really cool accent as well.
Yeah, throw that in at the end there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. I also I'm lucky enough. I own a couple of Silverpunk pieces, and it's I'm going to be adding more and more as time goes on. Great guy as well, Silverpunk.
yeah,
Yeah, it's does fantastic work, and there is just something about, and there's obviously a lot of very talented pourers doing their thing, which is great. There's something about a one of one piece. It could be the same design, but it will never be like for like. And to hold
100%.
something
Yeah,
that's a one of one that connects you to that pourer slash artist um, is very, very special, and that in itself is value. But once again, there's always that argument when you're buying these things. It's more of a collector side of things than it is a stacker. If you're a stacker, you just want weight at the best value. So
yeah,
you may
yeah,
buy as close to spot as possible your Britannias, and you might buy like your crowns, that are just going near spot as well.
yeah.
Um, but
But how
you meant
hard is it when you see a piece like this one that Silverpunk's done, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. It's a one of one. I don't care what it costs. I'm just going to add it to my stack.
Well, you said before, right? Do you remember? It was only a few minutes ago where you said about is there just a point where we do it just because we enjoy it? Yes,
Yeah,
and that is. So we've got
absolutely.
the investment mindset to buy things at the best possible price and build up weight. But there is
Yeah,
also the exciting stuff that you buy, you'll pay more than what the metal's worth because you really like that piece, and more importantly, guys, it makes you happy.
absolutely. You have to enjoy what you're doing, otherwise it becomes boring and mundane.
Yeah,
So you have to have that enjoyment. Everybody loves to grab a piece of silver in their hands and feel that silver. Now, if that's just a bog standard bar, or it's a one of one that somebody has spent hours producing and making and refining and absolutely perfecting, and that's sat on your backdrop, or it's sat on your display case if you keep them in display cases, then that's a special piece of metal.
absolutely. Yeah,
You know, the
I'm
time and
completely with you.
dedication and training that's gone into making that one piece of metal is, it's hours and hours and hours of painstaking mistakes, learning from mistakes, going again, doing it again, doubting yourself, going again. It's just amazing.
It's that human touch as well. It's not just been made
Absolutely.
by
Yeah.
pressing a button on a machine, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all buy some lovely bullion pieces that are made,
Yeah.
a machine made,
Yeah.
the stamped and different things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But something about a human touch, like personal custom paws, amazing. And there's so much out there. But
100%.
what I'd like to ask you, I've got a couple of things to touch on, and then soon, guys, 36 of you right now in the audience. Thank you so much. We will move on to you shortly, and any questions you have for our special guest, Stacks of Silver, start thinking about them because we will come to you shortly, and we will be focusing on the chat. So, you bought in at a good time, Stacks of Silver. It's fair to say, certainly with the gold, because I don't know the exact figures right now, but if we go even from 2 years ago to today, gold
Yeah.
has really gone up. Is it effectively doubled?
I think it's not far off. Yeah. Yeah. If
It
if
can't be
if not,
far off.
yeah, but it's not far off, mate, to be fair.
So the first thing I would ask, well, firstly, well done, by the way. I bet you're very happy with your time in there. But has your strategy changed because of the way the market's changed, or like you say, are you still buying gold heavy?
So I'm still buying gold every month. But I've gone to fractionals, so I've brought as the prices go up. I mean, a quarter ounce Britannia, what's that going for now? Like nearly 800 quid.
Yeah, just a bit more than the sovereigns, I think, mate.
Yeah, yeah. And again, sovereigns, not everybody can afford to spend 740, £30 for a sovereign. What is it?
It is around that. The cheapest I saw
Yeah.
the other day was about 730, but yeah, you could pay
Yeah.
750 for one some places.
So I have started going for the fractionals. I mean, that's a 10 grammer, 2.5 grams. Even the Tavex subscription,
Oh yeah,
uh,
very popular now. Those.
yep, yep. It's good value for money. At the end of the 12 months, you get another gram of gold absolutely free. So if the way things are going with a price increase, you're looking at about what, 130 quid maybe once you've got your last piece, depending on when you started?
I actually looked at this just quickly, mate, with the TabX subscription. I don't currently do it, but I am aware of it, and I know a lot of people in the community. I've spoke to people in Stack of Social.
Yeah,
Um, they do this subscription. I believe you can do up to five per month, and as long as you buy one every single month for the whole 12 months of the year, you
yeah,
will get up to that five, as long as you've been consistent the whole year, free at
yeah,
the end of the year. Now, when I looked last night, and I was speaking with this with about this to Diaxis actually, I've been speaking to him about gold a lot recently. Who's someone who wants to buy into gold, um, and the Tavex bar, £112, right? And I think the spot
yeah,
price of gold per gram right now, it just for numbers' sake, is about 100 quid. So £12 over spot. Just
yeah.
simple numbers. Don't be too precise, guys, or harsh on me in the comments. But about there. So if we do the maths on that, if you're paying £12 or so over spot, I know it'll change over the year. Times by 12, what's that? 140?
Hey, I'm ex-infantry.
144?
I can't work that out, mate.
But the point being is, yes, you'll pay £12 over spot for
Yeah,
12 months. So if you get that one for free, which might be worth £130, you're effectively getting 1 gram of gold at spot
yeah,
every single time, times by 13 when you add it all together. Then, all right, give or take a few quid either way, but it is really, really good. And it's not financial advice here, guys. I'm just saying
no,
I've
no.
looked at it and I think it's brilliant. And how long have you been doing the Tabex thing for?
So I think I'm about 8 months in now with Tavex. So yeah, about 8 months.
So four more
Um,
months to go, and you will get your free 1 gram of gold.
yes, I've also just my son's just started stacking as well. So he
Oh,
made
well.
his first gold purchase last week, and he had his first bit of silver turn up the other day.
Did he make that decision to start stacking because of you, or was it off his own back?
He I think I did influence him quite a little bit, to be fair, because I mean, he's at a young age. I mean, he'll be 21 on the 5th of November. He still lives at home. He's just qualified his apprenticeship in mechanics.
Wow.
So he's got himself a full-time job, which is really, really good pay, for a 21-year-old. And I said to him, son, I said, don't have it sitting in the bank doing nothing. Invest it into something. Have a look about, see what there is, whether you want to go stocks and shares or you want to go cryptocurrency or something like that. Get your money into something and get your money working for you, at least not protected. And I think, the way I talk about gold and silver to my wife and my children, that really influenced him. And he was like, right, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to start. So yeah, I'm quite proud that he started to stack actually.
That's
Um,
amazing.
my- yeah, my influencing has paid off.
Well, go back to what we said before, mate, and something that I say every single week when we say, I wish I started earlier. It's
Yeah,
fantastic, especially for you to think, well, do you know what? I didn't, but I've learned so much. I can help my son. And he started at 21. So he has got time on his side. And it's great that he's
massively.
looking to invest his money and he's
Yeah.
got this job. So well done to him, mate. Like I say, I think that makes you very proud. What I'd like to ask from you, last couple of bits here. Silver at the moment, £37 or just over £37.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is in dollars. Sorry for the American viewers. I will start trying to get better at the conversions. And gold, just under 3,100 per
Yeah.
ounce.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen before the end of the year for both metals? Can I get a prediction from you?
Yeah. So I think we had that massive jump up the other week. Um, Everybody got in on it. Everybody was, FOMO buying. People were profit making as well, rightly so. If you've been stacking for 10 years and it's now shot up to £3,000 an ounce or £3,100 an ounce, you're going to cash in, ain't you?
Yeah.
Silver exactly the same. Silver's been sat hovering for ages, and then all of a sudden it spikes up to 40 quid. People are gonna cash in on that. I think now it's settled back down. We've already seen silver starting to come back up again. So it went like from 35 back to 37 again. It's stabilized, it's leveled itself out. I think we're going to see a slow, steady climb with silver again. I think that's going to start going again. Gold, I think gold is going to do what it's always done, mate. And gold is just going to, it will peak and then it'll have a little bit of a pullback. It will level out, then it will go again. It's always done that, and I think that's what's going to happen with both of them. My prediction, money wise, I think silver we're going to be close. I think we're going to be pushing what we in November. So I think we're going to be pushing around about 39, 40 pound, I think, the silver by the end of the year. Gold, I think gold will be pushing up £3,200.
Interesting. There, I find so not a huge lift from where we are now. Although this is why I love asking predictions because nobody truthfully knows. They are all predictions. We cannot 100% guess the future of the market prices.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, who knows? I love hearing predictions. But what I want to say here, Stacks of Silver, you've been brilliant answering all of my questions. It's been so interesting hearing about your story, your upbringing, the experience you've had within your life, where stacking came into play a part within that, and we touched on some really important things, some great messages that you shared about mental health and stuff that
yeah,
you've
yeah.
learned. And I really appreciate your openness. So thank you to you.
No, you're very welcome.
But this is the time, mate, where we open the floodgates. You've survived my interrogation of questions. Well done. But now is the time, ladies and gentlemen. Very patiently, 36 of you. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please hit the like button for me. I would appreciate that. But now is all about you to ask your questions. I've got my eye on the chat, and if you've got any questions for our special guest, Stacks of Silver, please pop them in now, and I will read your questions as we go along. So let's see what we get. And there was loads. It's great to see all these comments, guys. Loads of questions and different things, and people putting comments in as we were going along. I love to see the chat being active. What's going on here? Oh, this I know why. So basically, Diaxis puts his comment in to tell people. So right when I said let's move to the live chat, I think Diaxis was about to put the magic word in, so
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
stopped messaging. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Right. So, Diaxis, if you want to do that, mate, be my guest. We do have a question from Danny Millington and Sandy. So I've got two at least. I've got three. They're coming through. We'll just see what we can do. It can be muddled up. We'll work with it. Right. Stacks of Silver. Question from Danny Millington. What is your most treasured piece, and what's the significance of it?
Okay, so I think my most treasured piece is that 10-ounce Valiant that you can see on the backdrop. It's a big, bold coin. It's like a statement coin. Plus, it's got St. George and the Dragon on there, which is really close to my heart as well, because obviously I used to wear that on my cat badge,
Yeah.
on my berry. So I always have that kind of that that love connection with that St. George and the Dragon.
Yeah. And I
So
have to say, the Silver Valiant, for me, is one of the nicest designs on a bullion coin.
yeah, yeah, it is a special coin. I do love looking at that St. George and the Dragon.
Yeah, yeah, I'm yet to get a 10-ounce silver coin. Yeah, mate, it looks very nice. What's it like? It sounds weird to ask. What's it like to hold in comparison to a 1 ounce?
Okay, so it is quite significant with the weight. I really don't mind handling my coins because I think they should be handled, to be fair. Um, it, it's it's nice. It's very, very weighty. You can feel the weight of it. Um,
You can feel the value in your hands, can't you?
yeah, absolutely. You can tell that it's worth some money. It's got that value to it. It's got that feeling of value. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It
But yeah,
really is. Great choice. Great answer to the first question. Thank you for putting that question in, Danny Millington. Working class stacks. Sandy's put a question in for you, mate. So the question is, you can take one coin to a desert island. Money is no object. I'm talking your most beautiful coin. What do you take? Okay, this is quite a similar question. Do you
it
take the
is,
silver
isn't it?
value? Do you
Yeah,
take the silver value?
it's got to be. I've got to take that George and the Dragon into any kind of situation with me. Haven't I? Sound like I'm repeating myself now, but yeah, that George and the Dragon. I've been into battle with George and the Dragon. I've been through some really rough times with George and the Dragon. So he's going to be my buddy through that desert island.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Well, we're two for two for so far. See if the next answer is the Silver Valiant. It's going strong. Alan, Scottish Bullion Collective, with a question for you, mate. And he says, did Stacks of Silver work off Mozambique in 2012 to 2013?
I would have been up and down that way. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was 2012 through to about 2015.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was up and down that way. I used to go down as far, well, I used to go all the way round down to Durban, South Africa, like I say, all the way over to Sri Lanka, all the
Yeah.
way up the coast of India, um, all the way up to Kuwait, all the way up to Suez. So it was that whole kind of area.
Yeah, and I think probably for context here, Alan's one of my close friends within the community, and he did a lot of traveling himself
Yeah.
on the oil rig, so he would have got around there. So all these different places. That's probably why he's asked that question. Is he was most likely there during that time too. Tridal from Germany, thanks for tuning in, buddy. How about military coin motifs? Do you buy some too?
Military coins. Apart from the crowns, with the George and the Dragon, no, not really. I don't go for the military stuff. I've got the poppy on there. You could probably say that that was a military kind of more of a remembrance of service people. Um, but no, not particularly. I tend to, I think because of the way I have been with my mental health and my PTSD, I've kind of steered away from that kind of stuff, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like my service medals are locked away in a box up in the loft as well. So I don't tend to kind of reminisce on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And it's completely fair enough. Another interesting question, though. There's loads coming through here, mate. There's a question from Queen Nessie. This is an interesting one, and she says, "What was Stacks of Silver's nickname in the army?" Were you happy to answer that?
I had lots of nicknames in the army.
Can you tell us maybe one or two?
Uh, um, yeah, so I was known as Big Hilly.
Big
Uh,
Hilly.
yeah, yeah, because I was a big lad. I was a boxer. I was, it
That's
was yeah, that was the one that kind of stuck. Um, yeah, Big Hilly.
a cool
But
nickname. Yeah, I
look,
like.
I mean, nicknames in the military are all pretty standard. So I thought that was quite original, to be fair. Because if your name's Smith, your nickname is Smudge. If your name is White, you're known as Chalky. And it's the nicknames are all pretty standard in the military. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah,
I know
that was
yeah,
mine.
it's a big thing, and well, as soon as I saw that question, I was like, oh, I'd really quite like to know that. So,
Yeah,
great
yeah.
question, Clean Ness, and thank you for answering that, just like all the questions, mate. Question from Benson's Coins. Question for Stacks of Silver. This is interesting. If you never joined the army, what do you think you would have done instead?
Ooh, that's a difficult question to answer.
Have you ever thought about that before?
No, see, so I mean, before I joined the military, I did have a job in the local town centre, and I was actually working in a jeweller's. So I was working with gold and silver in the jeweller's.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know, possibly I might have stayed in that kind of line of work, or um, that when I was that age, there was nothing else I wanted to do apart from being in the military.
Yeah, I remember you
So
saying.
yeah, it's quite a difficult it's quite a difficult question to answer. I probably would have stayed at the jewelers, mate. To be fair, I probably would have carried on working with gold and silver, but in jewelry form.
Well, if you had have done that, I'm sure you would have probably started stacking a lot earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, used to
By the
flip my head,
way,
didn't I?
yeah, these questions, I have to say that the chat, in my opinion, is on fire tonight. These are some really good questions.
Yeah, brilliant.
Coin Cutter, I've just seen your message on here, mate. Says sorry I'm late. It's had a long day. Glad he's managed to tune in. Hopes everyone's
Has he
had
been looking for that little 1/10 piece?
I'm guessing he has. I hope,
Yeah.
Coin Cutter, you found that little 1/10 little bit of the jigsaw, mate. If not, I'm so sorry. It was hard watch, but really, really good piece. Let's see if we've got some more questions. So I'm scrolling through. There's a lot of St. George's, which happens to be the magic phrase for people to get into the spinny wheel this evening. So let's sift through some of these. Where are we at? Right, Cy the Soundman, one of the founders of Stack of Social, says, question for Stacks of Silver. Thanks for a great live stream. My question is, if silver hit £100 an ounce tomorrow, would you sell or keep stacking? Great question, Si.
I would keep stacking.
Would you go and buy yourself a Britannia for like 145 quid or something?
Yeah, I'd probably go to 1/10 Britannias, but yeah, I would keep buying Britannias. I would keep stacking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would keep stacking. I see that potential in silver, and the fact that there's so many industrial uses for it. We're in a deficit as well. Silver's got it all there for them for itself. Sorry, it's just it that fuse just needs to be lit a bit more, doesn't it? They need to let it burn a little bit more and send it flying.
yeah. I'm, the more I speak about it with people with much more experience and knowledge than me, I firmly believe that silver is still and will be
Yeah,
for a long time massively undervalued. So the
absolutely.
potential, the upside is huge with silver. Um, but only time will tell. But yeah, I mean, I think I would keep stacking as well. But if it was
Yeah.
£100 an ounce, I probably wouldn't be able to stack at the same rate. It's certainly
No,
not in
no,
ounces.
there'd be a load of 1/10 Britannias, and you'd be paying massive premiums for them.
Oh God, yeah, there would be. Yeah, they'd become the new sort of most commonly ones that you buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, another question from Danny Millington says, Stacks of Silver, you served Queen and Country. Would you feel the same serving King and Country?
I mean, not many people like King Charles, do they? They're not fond of him.
I do get that impression.
But I, I see it as I signed the dotted line. I signed for the Queen. She was my boss for many years.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. Now, if I get another boss while I'm still, if it had happened while I was still serving and that new boss came in, then it's just a new boss to me. There's no, I would serve King and Country. If I had to go and do it again, I would serve King and Country. Um,
Do you
you
think
know, don't,
the bigger, sorry to interrupt you there, mate. Do you think
no,
that
that's
the
fine.
the bigger point, the bigger picture here, wanting to do that is the country part. That's who you're really serving is the country you love. Is that more important than who's in charge?
100%. Anytime it's a country, it's where your loved ones come from, it's where your family come from, it's where your friends come from. I would do anything to protect that.
Yeah.
So I would, I signed on the dotted line. I knew that I could be, basically not coming back from places. I volunteered to go and do that. Nobody made me sign the dotted line. I went and done it myself because that's how motivated I was to go and serve my country, protect my family, protect my friends. Um, yeah. So it doesn't matter who your boss is. It's the country. It's the love of your family and friends. But yeah, great question.
It really is, and so much respect for the answer as well, mate. Yeah, but without people like yourself, this country wouldn't have what we do have. So, yeah, thank you. Scottish Bullion Collector says this is in regards to the question before about Mozambique, if you remember from Alan, and he says we had ex-military on the drill ship I was on,
Yeah.
Anadarko.
Yeah. I, yeah. We used to do a lot of different jobs. So we used to go on kind of containers. We used to do drill ships, cable ships. We used to do private yachts. There was all sorts of different kind of ships that had armed security on purely for the fact that insurance companies would say you're not sailing that ship through those waters unless you have an armed security team on board. So that's the reason why, people were paying so much money for it to have a team of armed guys on board.
Yeah.
Um, You know, it's yeah, you would have found them everywhere.
That's it.
Um, yeah,
BBA says that this is about what we were talking before, and you spoke a lot of it and its significance. BBA says my favorite design, Saint George and the Dragon. That's his favorite design. Yeah, I think a lot of
yeah,
people are drawn to that design.
yeah. I think it's just it just has something. I think it just has something British about it as well, doesn't it? St. George and the Dragon. It's always you know for yeah, beautiful coins.
It's a
Yeah.
bit blurry, sorry, but yeah, I love it. And is it just me, by the way? I've got little bits of silver here. I know I only got these yesterday, but I always like to have something nearby, just to fiddle with. I don't know what it is. There's something about grabbing a silver piece. Is that just me? Do you do that?
I do that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whenever I'm feeling stressed out or I've had a bit of a rubbish day, I've got my little coin box in the corner that you can
yeah.
see on the screen to the left. I always go and pop that open. I keep all my old kind of numismatic coins in there, and I'll sit there going through it, listening to them clink together, and then checking out the designs of the different coins because I've got all sorts of different world coins in there. But yeah, it always makes me feel better. And
Absolutely.
that's another reason why I stack as well, because I love, although you get a tube of Britannias, you got 25 Britannias in there, exactly the same. They all somehow feel a little different every time you pick a different coin up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I get
so
what you mean.
yeah, so I really enjoy, I've picked up so many Britannias, but every time I pick one up, you always get that warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, precisely. And if you as a stacker or a collector, if you're ever having a bad day and you go and just check where if you've got some of your coins, if you keep some at home, wherever they may be, like I've got a few here, and you've stacked for a while, just having a look, open up your box, whatever you've got, your coin tube, a reminder of that progression, what you've achieved. It's a good feeling and a reminder that you're working towards something bigger. You're improving your long-term financial situation, putting your money in a better place than being cash depreciating in the bank. It's a good feeling,
100%.
and I do it regularly. It's a reminder of your progress as a stacker, and that's a good feeling in itself.
100%. I always try and encourage the wife to do that as well, although she does push back a little bit and she's like, put your silly coins away. I'm like, hang on a minute. These
Silly
coins are not
coins.
silly. These coins one day will help you with that Porsche that you want. But yeah, it's I yeah, they're a brilliant thing.
Definitely. 365 Days of Silver, the godfather of stacking, in my opinion. He did comment just before saying he is driving, but he's listening in as he's driving. So thank you for tuning in, Stacks. 365 Days of Silver. Sorry, I really appreciate that. What else have we got here? So Sandy Millington, working class stack, says, what other hobbies outside of silver and obviously gold as well do you have?
Okay, so I am an avid motorcyclist.
Okay.
So myself and my wife both ride motorcycles. I spent a bit of time as a motorcycle instructor as well, teaching people to ride a motorbike. But yeah, I absolutely love motorbikes.
I take it you've got your own nice shiny bike then at the moment.
I
Prize
I
piece.
I have my pride and joy sat in the garage. Yeah, alongside my wife's pride and joy as well.
I'm going to be selfish.
Yeah.
I had a question. It's a chat term, but I'm going to do this. Sorry, guys. If you could only, I'm so sorry to you, mate. If you could only have
Ooh.
one forever, one being stacking or bikes, but whatever you choose, the other one you can't have. Which one would you pick?
Ooh, that is such a
I,
difficult thing
I'm
to
so
choose.
mean. I'm so mean.
Oh my
I
God.
could just
How
hear
dare
the
you?
excitement in your voice when you spoke about your prize piece and the bikes. I was like, oh, I wonder if you'd choose that over the metals.
Yeah. Um, oh, oh God. I can't answer that one. I just can't, I can't do it. Sorry.
I tell you what, I'll give you another question I was going to ask before, another tough one, then we'll move back to the chat. Sorry, guys. The
Okay.
burning questions from me. Settle the debate for me. You've got both of them. You showed them before. Stunning coins, gold. You have sovereign. You also have a quarter ounce gold Britannia. Very similar in weights. Sometimes get compared, not quite the same, different purities.
Yeah.
But which one do you prefer to stack?
The Sovereign every day.
And
This,
and quickly on that, what's the reason for that for you personally?
that Sovereign at one point was in somebody's purse or pocket. There's a lot of history that goes with that. And
Yeah,
that's what fascinates me about the Sovereigns is that they've been around for all that time and they're now, or a few of them are now sat on my table in front of me. And
yeah.
there's so much history that goes with it as well. It's not just kind of like mass produced, put in a capsule, send it out from a mint. You
No,
know, it's actually been in, different times, different eras, and it's traveled through all that time and now it's sat on the table in front of me.
who's held it? What exchange has it been involved in?
Exactly
Whose
that. And
hands?
yeah, absolutely. And it just intrigues me. It's history right there on the table.
Me too. I don't own one yet.
You'll get there.
Oh, I will. I'm very close actually. Don't tell anyone, guys. But I'm waiting for the release. I believe the
Yeah,
12th of
yeah,
November. There's going to be the
that's
2026
right.
Gold Sovereign released, and we're going back to the traditional yellowy gold, which for some is a big preference. For me, it is. What about you?
I don't mind, to be honest with you. It's gold is gold at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what color it is.
Yeah, gold is absolutely, and once again, I do not mind the rose gold at all. I think
No,
that's very
no,
nice. It's just if I
yeah.
had to choose one, I would choose that. So I am hoping that'll be my first piece. And someone, I think
Right.
it was someone that's been a follower of my channel from the very start, Pure Blood, I believe his username is. Just a quick shout out to him. I don't know if he's here right now, but he saw my latest video on my channel. I went to a coin deal, I bought some more silver, and he goes, I thought you were saving up for a gold sovereign. I am. I just bought
Yeah.
more silver. But yeah, I can't wait for that. But anyway, guys, back to you. I'm so sorry. Right. So, Benson's coins. This is an interesting question. Do you get people with diabetes type 1 in the army, and what position are they allowed to do in the army? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. Certainly in the infantry, diabetes in any form was a no-no because of the crashes or the blood sugar levels and things like that. You don't want to be dealing with that kind of things when you're out on the ground carrying out operations. Um, so yeah, in the infantry, I never come across anyone with diabetes. I'm not too sure about the other services with the RAF or Navy or anything like that. I'm really not too sure, mate. Honestly, I can't say.
Fair enough, mate. I saw the question and I thought, oh, it's a different
Yeah,
question, but
yeah,
it's a
very
good
very
question as well.
interesting. Yeah, absolutely, very interesting question. Um, but yeah, I've never come across anyone with diabetes, to be fair, in the military.
Yeah, I imagine there is, for obvious reasons, and what's entailed, there would be very strict health sort of guidelines as to what's okay and what's not okay to be, you know, serving with what's required, you know?
Yeah, I mean, people getting medically discharged for shin splints. So if you've got diabetes,
Yeah,
yeah, unfortunately.
yeah, there we go. Good question, Benson. And I appreciate all the questions, guys, that you put in through for Stacks of Silver, and to you as well, mate, for answering them all. So we do have more. There's plenty more. So Scottish Bullion Collector, Alan, says, I worked with a guy called Pothole because everybody avoided him. So that'll be backwards again when we spoke about nicknames in the army
Yeah,
for yourself. Big
yeah,
Hilly. He worked with a guy called Pothole because everyone
yeah,
avoided him.
absolutely. Brilliant nickname, that one.
Oh, here's one for you, mate. This is a question from Sandy. It's for you, but it's about me. I'm really, this is a good question. It's going to put you on the spot though. So Sandy says, "What would Craven's army nickname be, and why would it be Slabhead?" Thanks, Sandy.
Well,
What?
it'd obviously be Caravan, wouldn't it?
Oh, how did I know that was coming? Caravan. I'll take that, to
Dear.
be fair. I've embraced the nickname of Caravan.
That's a cool nickname. You know, people have sat there and thought about what they could call you, and you know, you've rented space in their minds choosing that nickname. So you should be happy about that.
Hang on, hang on. All of what you said was true, but I didn't choose that name. It was a certain BBA.
That's right.
Blistering
Yeah,
Barnacles. That's who it was. Oh,
that's
that's who
it.
it was. But yeah, there we go. We move on. We move on. Oh, thanks, Phil, on this bounty. You called me a sniper's dream. Thanks for that, mate. Really appreciate that. Uh, and
Aim for
somebody's
centre of
promised.
mass.
Yeah. Easy target. Thanks, guys. Really kind. Reminder, guys, from Diaxis to be this. We might be past this, so if we are, I'm sorry. But he said to make sure that you put the magic word St. George for your spot on the wheel. Right. So Scott M. Stacks of Silver. Did you find Kuwait City the most boring place in the world? And do you like a sovereign? And which monarch's head do you like the most? George
Yeah.
fifth for me.
So Kuwait City, I never really saw anything of Kuwait City because I was straight in and straight out, and it was under nightfall as well. It was early hours of the morning. I think about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when we landed.
He didn't see
Um,
it.
no, we was literally straight to the port, processed back out the country, and we was on ship and gone.
Okay.
Um, yeah, off to the floating armory to collect our weapons. Yeah, so I didn't really spend any time there, to be fair. Um,
And the
to answer the
question
one
about the
about
sovereign, yeah.
to answer the one about the sovereign, I do love a sovereign, and it's obviously got to be Lizzie.
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
to be Lizzie every time.
And if I can, is that the one with the tiara on as well? Yeah,
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah,
absolutely.
she has. Yeah, she's got a headdress on there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because do you know what? I learned this after a while. It's not a crowned one. I don't think there ever was a crowned one for Elizabeth.
No.
It's a tiara, isn't it?
Yeah, they are tiaras. Yeah, yeah.
So interesting. But another good question. Now, I've seen the next comment. This isn't a question. Now, I don't know what I've done at any point this evening to invite this abuse. I'm just the host, guys. But Nemo says my man doesn't need Face ID. Apple already mapped it as a consonant. You know what? I'm gonna move my face to back here. Okay, my head isn't that big.
Oh,
Honestly,
yeah,
you
you're
guys.
taking it tonight again, ain't you?
Someone's got to take one for the team. I don't mind. I don't mind. Thank you, Nemo. Let's have a look. Where are we at with questions? Uh, you know what? I'm looking for questions, and it's just abuse. So I'm not reading them. The thoughtful stacker, Ian Atterbury, the sniper. Craven, I take a crown as a pocket piece wherever I go, including work. Nerd knows. That's interesting. A lot of people take a pocket piece. Do you do that with silver?
No, I don't, to be honest with you. No, I have thought about it though. But I mean, for my job now, I work with antiques. So if I was to turn up with a piece of silver in my pocket, there might be questions on where that's come from. Um, so yeah, I tend to keep my silver at home out the way.
Yeah, no, I don't take pocket piece either, but I know it's quite a thing that people do like to do. But depending on where you're going, it's not always possible.
No,
But
no.
it is nice for those that can. I know. Shout out to BBA who, when he does his bike rides, he takes a nice little pocket piece for a bike ride, and we love to see it. Um,
Brilliant.
Danny Millington says, "Stacks of silver. Have your family ever read your final letter home and now you're here safe? What is the one thing you would say in that letter that you didn't say?" That's a deep question.
That is a deep question. Yeah. So no, they haven't. They've never read that. They've never read that letter. There's been no need for them to read that off me to show it them. Um, Now that I'm home safe, what would I say in that letter that I didn't say? Ignore everything you've read in this letter. That's what I would say.
Brilliant
Um,
answer, mate. Brilliant answer.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That I mean, it's, you know, to think of an answer to that on the spot is quite a thing to do. But um, you know, if I was to write a letter now, I would probably say, um, just thank you for always being by my side and being there.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Just those simple words.
Yeah, and I wouldn't push for any more than that, mate, because I think that's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good response. And thank you for answering that because it was sometimes I just read questions, I don't look at them first. It was a very deep question, so thank you for asking answering that.
That's no problem at all, mate. No problem at all.
Okay. Tridell, this is a question for you, mate. So we spoke about gold and silver, which is always the top two, right? They're the ones that everyone talks about, most popularly stacked. But there are other metals as well. So he wants to know, I guess, what your stance is on copper, platinum, and palladium. What are your thoughts on those?
So I do have a small amount of platinum,
Okay.
and it's literally tiny. Um, it just didn't give me the feeling that gold and silver gave me. So I kind of ignored platinum. Palladium, I've never even kind of thought about stacking that.
Mm.
Um, Copper, I think copper's really nice as a decorative piece, but I wouldn't go as far as to stack it. They do some really nice copper rounds and copper bars look really nice, but I don't think there's the incentive to stack it like there is with gold and silver.
No, not for me. And I've said this to you, don't personally think the investment value is there. However,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. Copper is still very popular amongst stackers because as a metal, aesthetically, it's stunning. And something I really want to get my hands on, Diaxis, the producer, has one of these, and quite a few others do in the community, is one of the 1 kilo copper bars from the Germanium Mint. I think they're about 30 something pounds.
Yeah.
But and it's not about whether that's value for money. It's just once again that looks stunning. I'd love
Yeah.
that, and I think that's kind of why people buy copper. And a lot of the copper rounds are very popular as well, just for the design.
Yeah, I mean, really, really nice decorative piece to have in your backdrop or have on the table, something that you don't mind kind of aging with the tarnishing and the weathering and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just, yeah, a decorative piece. They do some really, really nice copper rounds, really beautiful copper rounds. Um, but yeah, I've never kind of, yeah, looked at that to be fair.
Yeah. The thoughtful stacker says every stacker should have a sovereign at some point. Do you agree with that?
100%, yeah. I think that sovereign is the kind of it is the historical landmark of stacking, isn't it? You get that sovereign, like I said before, the history that's steeped in that coin is, that's just, yeah. You think of stacking, you think of piles of sovereigns just pushing over and making that noise that it makes when they clink together.
The
And
jingling. Oh,
yeah, yeah. Imagine that back in the days in a nice little leather wallet, jingling about as it's dropped into someone's hand. It's like, that it's just that sound. It gives you goosebumps.
it does, and I'm guilty of watching all sorts of different content, some of the shorts, and
Yeah,
when people just have a handful of sovereigns and they're just moving them around in the light in their hands and they're jingling
yeah.
together, and there's like
It,
20 of them, and you think,
yeah, yeah. It's like when Backyard Bullion does his,
yeah,
and he's got piles and piles of them over the table.
it
Yeah,
does. It's eye
yeah,
candy, mate, and
yeah, yeah.
it's also motivation to want to get some, and I'm very close to getting my first one. Interesting question on sovereigns. You showcased one before with Lizzie on, lovely. So I'm guessing it's fairly recent. But John Clayton says, "What age is your sovereign? What year is it, mate?"
This one I think is. Let me see.
I'm guessing
Uh,
it's more recent because it was rose gold, right?
it is a recent one. It's a what is that? 2019. No, I
29.
don't think. Is it? Yeah, it's 2019. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, that one's still got quite a bit of a shine on it as well. So I don't know whether
Yeah.
that came from. I don't know whether it was a proof that was just thrown in, or I don't know.
And I can tell as well, you don't mind, handling the coins as such. Some people are really against it. You seem quite comfortable to do that.
those sovereigns have been handled in the past, or they've
But the older
had,
ones, yeah.
yeah, so you've got to feel your metal, haven't you? You've got to feel the coldness of the silver. You've got to feel that nice crisp reeded edge of a brand new Britannia when it comes out of the tube. Your gold. I don't mind taking gold out of a capsule and handling it because I like to feel it. It's mine. I can touch it. It's still going to be worth the same amount of money when I go and sell it on. It's not going to affect it in any way, in
Yeah.
my opinion. I know people are probably sat there going, "He's stupid. What's he doing?" But
Like,
you know,
it's one of those where people have such strong opinions on it, but and I'll be honest, for me, mate, there's some coins in my collection I don't touch, or I
yeah,
may with gloves just on the edges. But there's
yeah,
also some that I'm happy to handle, like some of the
yeah,
older Brits and stuff that But whatever, when you're buying your own coins and it's your own stack, it's yours to do what you want. And at the end of the day, you're
absolutely.
investing in the metal. So regardless whether it's not as shiny or as pristine as the others, it's still worth that ounce of silver or gold intrinsically. That's just the facts.
100%. Yeah,
Um,
100%.
there's a whole other conversation about whether it's pristine, especially with stuff like proofs, whether it holds a slight premium, but that's another conversation for another day. Either way,
If,
the
if, if
sovereign.
you're if you're if you're buying proofs that hold that premium, you are then you're in that realm of buying that for a reason because it's got that high premium on it and because it's going to keep that premium on it, and therefore you're not going to want to handle that one because it's got that proof, like it's a proof coin.
Yeah, yeah,
With
precisely.
bog standard Britannias, although that came out of a tube only last week, a brand new 2026 Britannia, I'm still quite happy handling that because it sits on top of other coins inside a tube.
Yeah,
It's not in a single capsule, so it will have tiny marks on it, microscopic marks on it. So I'm quite happy to handle that.
yeah.
For those reasons. And I like the sound of them. I like to hear them. I like to feel them. I like to touch them.
I do, and it's something I mentioned a lot of 365 days of Silver's videos. He's got the one of the next questions I'm going to ask, but he likes to get the Britannias out and play with them, and I could sit there and look at that for a long time. It's just
Yeah.
something there's something
Okay.
very therapeutic about it. There
Yeah.
really really is. So we'll keep
100%.
going with the questions, mate. There's plenty more. John Clayton says, "Who's the best and most honest person to ask for valuations? Does it depend on what you want valuing?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. If it's coins and you're going to go and take it to a coin specialist, I don't know. That's a bit of a difficult one to.
Yeah,
If you're trying to get a specific item valued, be it antique, gold, silver, then you're going to take it to a specialist of that field, to get the best valuation, the best honest valuation of that item that you're trying to get valued.
yeah. As soon as you sort of, well, it really depends on what it is that you want valuing.
Yeah.
And if you pop that in, if there's something specific that you're looking to get valued and you're not sure where's best to go, pop another comment, John Clayton. And I'll see it when we get down to that point. We'll return to that, mate. So thank you for the questions. Here we go. So 365 days of silver. This is a comment for you, Stacks of Silver, and he says, Stacks of Silver. I absolutely love your TikToks, and your backdrop is brilliant. Have you done social media before? And if not, how come your channel looks so professional? And just to add, I completely agree with that comment.
Well, I really, really appreciate that last bit. Yeah, it's quite humbling from a kind of the godfather of stacking 365. But
That's it.
um, I have never ever done any social media before. I've been very kind of hidden away and not wanting to kind of speak on social media and kind of put content out there. It took me quite a while to get going. Um, I don't know why does it look so professional? I'm not too sure. Um, I've got some cheap lighting. I've got a DJI microphone for my sound, and I'm on a little tripod thing with my phone, and that's it.
That's all you
Um,
need.
Yeah, yeah, it's so easy. And then a select few stickers. Obviously, I've got guys that I've done poker chip swaps with, and they've sent me through stickers and things like that. And every single one that I get goes onto my board, as a bit of a homage to the community. Um, so I know that every time I go and do a bit of social media, there's a little bit of the community all over my backdrop with you've got the QR code, you've got Stack of Social sticker down there as well. Hopefully people pick up on that and they start thinking, well, I'm going to scan that next time and go and see what Stack of Social's all about. And, or I'm going to go and check out Scottish Bullion Collector or 365. So I'm hoping that as well as putting my content out there, I'm also trying to spread the word for this community as well. Because do you know what? I've never been part of anything like this before, but the community is 100% genuine and one of the best group of people out there that I have been a part of. And the poker chip challenges, sorry, exchanges. I'll send you that poker chip, but not only with the poker chip, you also get stickers thrown in there. You get personalized letters in their mail calls as well. Um, Coins. Oh, you get all different types of stuff in there, and it's absolutely amazing that we are part of a community like that. So I try to make my backdrop look as good as possible so that people will see all those different aspects of Stacker Social and what we are all about, stacking gold and silver, trying to educate people, trying to encourage people to put their money where it's not going to lose that value. You're going to protect your wealth. Um, because the way things are going at the moment with the economy, God knows where we're going to be in like 5 years' time,
It's
12
uncertain
months.
times. It really, really is. And I love what you just said there about the community. I completely echo that. I couldn't put that any
Yeah,
better myself. I love the poker chips. We have such a supportive and the word I like to use it because it's so true, generous community. Um,
absolutely.
and guys, 40 of you watching live right now, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a stacker, a collector, or you're just interested in this space and potentially putting your money to better use or being part of that conversation, check the link in the description. Join Stacker Social. It's a free Discord, and it really is, like Stacks of Silver mentioned, the place to be. I'm interested. How long have you been part of Stacker Social for? Just out of interest. When did you join?
Ooh, difficult. I think probably towards the beginning of the year. Um, so yeah, not that long to be honest with you. Um, I joined it because I was watching 365 on YouTube, and
That's exactly the same as me, by the way.
yeah, yeah, and I was kind of stacking blindly, or starting to stack. Well, no, I wasn't stacking blindly, but I'd been watching him all up until that kind of point that I joined Stacker Social. So some of the stuff that 365 was doing online and that, I was picking bits out of that and trying to learn from him. And then I was watching people like Backyard Bullion and all those kind of big names. Um, but it's a really, really brilliant community. So friendly. There's names on there that I've never met or spoke to in person, but you can chat to them on the chat and you can have a joke with them. You can carry on joking with them, like BBA. But BBA, when I first started doing my TikToks and things like that, BBA would love and he would kind of comment on every single post that I'd done.
Instantly.
Yeah,
Instantly.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, instantly. And I was like, one of the days I thought, I need to reach out to BBA and I need to show him that I appreciate all his support and his follows and his reposts. And I reached out to him over the messenger and I said to him, look, I just want to say thank you very much for your support. You've been kind of there since the beginning. Every single post you've liked or shared or commented on. Um, can I have your address and I'll send you some stickers and a poker chip and things like that. And it's such a brilliant community.
It really
Got
is.
guys that you've never met before and girls that you've never met before. Again, like Nessie. all the time. Nessie's liking my posts and things like that, commenting on my posts, and it's like, you know, they're just amazing people. Really, really good community to be in. I
Yeah,
love being part of this community.
so do I. I say this every week, guys. I'm very, very proud to be part of this community. Part of the big part of that being Stackers Social. And yeah, credit to BBA, last year's Member of the Year on Stackers Social. We can all see why. He is the people's champion. He is everywhere. And rumor has it he has about 50 phones. Because I don't know how he is where he is. I said once, I'm pretty sure before my video actually went live, 1 minute before, he'd already reposted it and commented. So I want to know what the trick is, BBA. But
Yeah.
credit to you, mate. You are a legend. But yeah, I love to hear that, mate, and it is great. I have so much fun interacting with this community. It is brilliant. We've got more questions coming through. I'm gonna probably go
Okay.
through a few more, mate, as we get closer to 9 o'clock, maybe just after, and then we'll bring the producer in at that point, and we'll do some
Brilliant.
some fun things with the wheel and have a talk about that. Does that sound okay?
That sounds perfect.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone in the chat that's posting these great questions tonight, and once again to you for answering all of them. I dread to think how many questions you've gone through today.
Yeah,
um,
there's quite a few. That's it. It's fine, absolutely fine. I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
I'm glad to hear that. Tradell says, question, last question from me. If one day a member of the British royal family takes part at Stackers Social, who would you like that to be? Can be a living or past member getting out a time machine. That's interesting.
That
No
is
one's ever asked that
interesting, isn't it?
before.
I,
Yeah.
I, I think because of that military connection, it's going to have to be my old boss, Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, I always kind of throughout my military career, she always kind of was that kind of grandmother kind of role, if you know what I mean. If you can, you know, we done royal duties, we done palace duties and things like that as well. So you know, she was very much a big part of our kind of or my kind of military history, and kind of military career as well. You know, we spent time protecting her residence. So yeah, definitely Queen Elizabeth.
Great
Yeah.
answer. Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot would agree with that answer as well. Danny Milton says, great question, Trudell. Absolutely. No one's ever asked that question. Very creative, mate. Brilliant question. Love that. Nemo, once again, with a very good question. Good old Nemo. He says, stacks of silver. How many Jacob's crackers, which is the cream crackers, by the way, can you eat in 5 minutes?
How many could I eat?
In 5 minutes.
Do I have to dry? Do I have to do it dry or?
Oh, it's as dry as you can get. Yeah, you've got to do it properly. You can't have water, no drinks. You've got 5 minutes. Can you eat? Do you reckon you could eat seven?
Oh, is that the record? Is it 7?
No, it's just a challenge. I was introduced to this a couple of weeks ago. The first time I did it in like 8 minutes. That's how long it took me to have seven. The second time I did it in like 6 minutes and 11 seconds. It's
I
really
mean,
hard.
they're really dry, aren't they? They're like the Afghan desert.
Oh, so dry. And the thing was, right now, look, everyone's going to be saying excuses. The ones I had were even drier, and they were
Yeah.
Morrison's, Morrison's finest crackers that have been left in the cupboard for weeks, open.
And they were out of date as well, so it made it even drier.
Probably. I mean, I had a sore throat for days, mate. But do you think you could eat seven in 5 minutes?
I mean, I'd give it a good go.
That was my attitude. I'm like, I'm a good eater. I can do food challenges. I can eat more
Yeah.
than what you think I'm capable of. And then I took on that challenge. It's not easy. It's really not. But if you can
Yeah.
eat seven in 5 minutes, I'd really be impressed. I reckon you've got a good chance there, mate.
But that I mean, we'll have to wait and see, eh? We'll have to get that as a challenge.
Yeah, well, people are starting to do this. I failed twice, but I've got closer. Yeah, try it at your own will, guys. It's not fun, so I don't recommend it.
But make sure you
Right.
video it and post it.
Well, yeah. Let's not talk about my attempt was recorded, but I've asked for it not to be put online. So I hope that the holder of that video respects that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Few comments here saying BBA is a complete legend. Completely agree. 365. BBA got me into Stacker Social. Absolute legend from Benson's. Yeah, Brits and Souls. BBA is a legend. Yes, everyone's saying it. Look, he is.
The
He's the
legend
goat.
of BBA. He is well and truly part of Stacker Social, isn't he? He is
He
the
is. He's
the,
the backbone of it.
the man of Stacker Social.
Yeah, every single comment on my screen right now starts with BBA. BBA,
Yeah.
you mean so much to so many, mate. Please don't ever change. You're everywhere, and please keep being everywhere. You make this community what it is just by being you, brother. So much love
I,
to you.
I love it when you're looking at the chat and then all of a sudden you're talking about somebody's YouTube channel or TikTok channel and then bang, straight away, BBA's got the link there.
He's, he's done that just before. I've just
Oh, did
scrolled
he?
down and I can see Stacks of Silver TikTok from BBA. Your TikTok is on
Brilliant.
there, guys. And for anyone
Absolutely
that
brilliant.
hasn't, yeah, for anyone that hasn't, check out Stacks of Silver's TikTok. You do have a YouTube channel as well, which is linked in the description. So check out both. But you do most of your content on TikTok, don't you?
I do, yeah. And then I usually just do YouTube shorts, but I am trying to make some time now to push onto YouTube as well and get a bit more. There's a few less restrictions on YouTube, so you can talk about things a bit differently on YouTube than you can TikTok. It's
Yeah.
quite heavily kind of police TikTok is. But yeah, I am hoping to push on to kind of YouTube properly and get some more in-depth kind of some in-depth kind of content out there as well.
Yeah. You mean sort of like the longer format videos?
Yeah, longer so you can get your point across a bit more in depth instead of trying to rush a 60-second TikTok through or for prime time viewing and yeah, so I am looking at going to YouTube a bit more.
It would be good to see. It really would.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I am subscribed to your channel and encourage everyone in here, if you haven't already, do the same. Like I say, link is in the description, and I'm sure somewhere in this chat that I may have scrolled through, BBA's probably posted a
B-
link in here for you all
yeah,
as well.
BBA's firing it off.
I just seen a comment, by the way, based on the cream cracker situation, and it's from Miss Stacking with Craven, who's currently downstairs. And she says, I wondered why there was no crackers left in the cupboard.
Does she have to eat just plain cheese without the crackers? That's
Who?
terrible.
I don't know. Well, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I do love cheese, but yeah, no, I'm not sure if it is though.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Guys, I can't see any more questions right now. We're coming up to 9 o'clock. Um, yeah. Do you have any questions for me, Stacks of Silver?
Right.
Anything at all?
So I don't know whether you've covered it before, but you probably have. But what got you into stacking? What got you into metals?
I was coming from a place in life where I wasn't happy
Yeah,
financially, with kind of living month to month and kind of getting back to that zero. Okay, you have some money, but wasn't really going anywhere, and you don't feel this feeling of growth that I'm feeling now, where I'm building something that lasts.
yeah,
And similar to yourself, mate, I was watching YouTube videos to do with investing, stock market, crypto, uh, precious metals. A certain 365 Days of Silver stood out from the crowd to me when I first started. I watched his videos. I joined
yeah.
Stack of Social, and at the very first time, I bought my first silver coin, which was a Britannia. That was in April. The rest is history, and I'm so happy that I did.
Never look back. And do you invest in anything else, or is it just silver at the moment? And then you're looking at moving into gold as well. But do you do crypto or anything like that?
I have in the past, and I cashed out because I needed the money. I was, I wasn't set up where whatever happened, I could just leave that there. I had to take it out. Similar with stocks, I've invested in stocks before. The S&P 500, for me, I felt was a good one. There are other options available. None of this is financial advice, guys, but I have meddled with the stocks and the ISAs. I've looked at a few different things, to be perfectly honest with you, and then a lot of it was all cashed out, and I started from scratch.
Yeah.
and started with the metals, and slowly but surely my situation is improving. I'm putting my cash to better use than just sitting in the bank. And we have this conversation quite regularly. I said it in one of my most recent videos. I've spoken about it on podcasts. Now with my mindset, mate, and I don't know if you're the same. I'll throw this back to you. If I'm thinking sometimes of a takeaway or just buying something random online or anything, I will think that very question of, yeah, 30 quid, 40 quid, that's an ounce of silver, or that's this
Yeah.
coin I wanted
Yeah.
to buy. I
Yeah.
think like that now.
100%.
So yeah, it has changed the way that I make decisions for the better. I'm a lot more disciplined.
Yeah. Yeah. That's brilliant. I mean, I I looked at stocks and shares and things like that, and I looked at going into cryptocurrency. But it's just like a minefield. It's so mind-boggling as well. I mean, with gold and silver and metals, it's easy. You pay for a Britannia, or you pay for a sovereign. It turns up through the post, or you take it from the guy at the shop or whatever, and it's there and you hold it. But then all the digital currency, you know, cryptocurrency, you hear these stories of 20 grand dropping off the price of Bitcoin and things like that, and it's absolutely terrifying to me
Yeah,
that you're not in control of that kind of, I know you get price fluctuations with the metals, but at the end of the day, you still physically hold them metals. It's not, it's not digital numbers floating about in the World Wide Web. It's quite terrifying to me.
and you know this. I agree, by the way. And you know the saying, don't you? That if you don't hold it, you don't
You
own it.
don't
And you
own it.
spoke
Yeah,
before
100%.
about holding something, feeling that value in your very hand, seeing it in front of
Yeah,
you, and also seeing it grow as a stack, and hearing that
exactly that. It's
hearing
that
that noise.
distinctive sound, isn't it?
Yes, I
It
love
is that
that
distinctive sound. It's beautiful.
sound. It really, really is. Yeah, I can see some all sorts of strange and funny comments in the comment section. Nemo, are you on the whiskey tonight, Nemo? Oh God, Nemo, can always rely on you. Right, so
Nemo's on one.
he is good old Nemo. Yeah, he says maybe. Yeah. Right, so this is the time, guys, where I'm gonna bring in the producer, Diaxis, and not just any producer, the world's #1 producer, because we're going to start preparing for the Wheel of Wonder to get 3 names. We'll spin it 3 times to see who is the first 3 entrants into Craven's Christmas Cracker. You'll find out what the big prize is going to be in a few weeks' time. It will be worth it. And just to set precedent here, guys, if your name gets entered, don't think, oh, I'm in, I'll wait till Christmas and come back. No, 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 no. There's going to be no rules. So if you're in, your name will stay in the wheel. So effectively, if you get selected and you're one of the lucky ones, you could end up with 2 or 3 entries by the time it's run. So if you're tuning in regularly, you could have, if you're lucky, a better chance at winning that prize. That's all I'll say. Diaxis, are you with us?
I'm always there, mate.
You're everywhere.
I'm
Thank you
everywhere.
for joining us.
Not as much as BBA, but yeah, I am here in the shadows, mate.
No one, I think we can agree as a collective here, as a community, that no one can be everywhere like BBA is. It's impossible. No one can match him. He's got 500 phones. He's on all of them at the same time. It's ridiculous. Are you still there?
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I know that you're feeling a bit tender today, mate. So
No, I'm all good, man.
I'll try and make it a bit easier. But have you got everyone who said the phrase St. George? Are they in the wheel?
We have, mate. We got 32 names.
Okay, well, you know what to do. And
Yeah.
also, Stacks of Silver, you're going to play a pivotal role, not once, not twice, but 3 times this evening, because we're going to spin the wheel 3 times. So we're going to ask you kindly to do the countdown when we move to that. Is that okay?
Amazing. Yes, I am in for that.
I'm going to
There we
say,
go. Diaxis, yeah.
on what you said there, mate. So obviously you're saying that people can get multiple entries, but is that 1 entry per evening, or do they get 3 attempts tonight and 3 attempts next week?
Yeah, so I think on that, I think we should keep it to you can only get 1 entry per evening, but
Yep.
if you're tuning in again next week, you absolutely can get
Come back
another
in.
entry because you're here. So if you're here every week and you're tuning in, hopefully because you enjoyed the show. But if you are doing that, then absolutely you have every right to be entered again if Little John's Wheel of Wonder picks you. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. I've only had a couple tonight, Danny. Just like one or two. Just to ease the headache.
Hair of the dog. Hair of the dog.
But yeah, it's all good, man. I got a Chinese in a bit once we've done with the live, so that'll sort me right out. Right.
Oh, whoa. Wait, you've ordered one?
Oh no, they picked one up, mate. To be fair, it was ready before the live started, and I was like, I'm not eating before. I just power through, mate, and we'll have it later.
Oh, so you're saying that, just quickly here, that you have given up the chance to dive straight into a lovely Chinese takeaway to be here and be the producer for this live, and you're going to eat afterwards.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Ah, mate.
Above and beyond and all that good stuff, mate.
The dedication. Thank you, brother. Just out of interest, I'm sure everyone's dying to know, what's your order from the Chinese? What have you got waiting for you?
I have no idea, mate. They've dealt with all that, so yeah, God knows.
Okay.
Nothing too fancy, mate. Just the usual.
The good thing about Chinese, though, is it's kind of like a big pick and mix, just a bit of everything. Sides, starters, it's all mingles together really nicely, mate. So, yeah, hopefully we can get you tucking into that soon. But, yeah, take it away with the wheel, mate.
All right, all good, mate. All right, let's switch over to the wheel then. Right, so
Yes,
first one with a number in the chat, we need some shuffles. So if I put go, and then I see what we get. All right, VB done 4. So if we do 4 shuffles on that one.
Yes, Benson, I am excited about the Chinese. You're absolutely right.
Chinese update.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, Stacks of Silver then, mate. If you give us a countdown from 3, and then we will spin the wheel for our first winner.
Good luck. And 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, everyone. It looks to me like Little John's Wheel of Wonder has now been spun. We are going to get the first entry into Craven's Christmas Cracker.
It's a little slower than normal, mate, because we did reduce the time slightly.
I'm going to ask you to basically follow this to who wins.
Yeah.
I'm slightly behind on my screen.
Good, mate. Yeah, it's starting to slow it now, starting to be able to read some names. Definitely not me.
Who's it looking like?
Possibly Danny or Jokers. Maybe Nemo. Probably Jokers, I would. Maybe Danny. I think it's going to be Danny, mate. Although it is slowly, I think it will be Danny. But yeah, there we go. Right,
Danny Millington?
First one is Danny.
Danny Millington, congratulations. You are the first entry. Yeah, the first entry into the Christmas Cracker, which will be done in December, a much bigger prize pot. So well done. You have an entry. Congratulations. We're going to move straight on. If you can kindly take Danny's name out.
Yep.
We've got 2 more slots to go.
Cool. Yeah, if you count us down again, mate.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I've dropped it down to like 45 seconds this time, so it's not as drawn out as the other ones, which is a little bit more intense, but
good luck, everyone.
It should be good still.
Best of luck. Who is it going to be the second time round? The wheel has been spun and it's still spinning. Diaxis, who's it looking like, mate?
Starting to slow up, so not Nerd. Probably not Shiny now. Could be Benson. Either, yeah, probably Benson, I would have said. It'll push.
Ooh.
I reckon it's Benson, mate.
Is it going to be Benson?
Yeah, slap bang in the middle, mate. Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Congratulations, Benson's Coins, my friend.
Well
you
done,
are
Benson.
the second entry into the Christmas Cracker. Well done, mate. Excellent. So 2 people in. That means 1 slot to go.
All right, third and final one then, mate.
If you can kindly remove Benson from the wheel.
Done. Yep.
You're on it,
you
mate.
ready?
Yeah, when you're ready, mate.
Good luck for the last one. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, everybody. The last slot for this evening, but don't worry. Every single week there will be 3 opportunities to get into the Craven's Christmas Cracker, a big prize pot, which you'll have a chance to win in December. Do you want to see us through to the finish line, Diaxis?
Yeah, starting to slow up now, but it's still moving quite fast. Where are we looking at? Could be, I don't think it's Miss Craven, that's whizzing on by.
Rigged.
Could be could be Jokers again. Jokers or Nemo. Maybe VB.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say probably Nemo. But it is still slowly moving. Yeah, it's gonna be halfway through Nemo, I think.
Is it Nemo?
I reckon so. Yeah, there we go, mate.
Yeah, well done.
Nemo! You little rascal.
Yeah, Danny, Benson, and Nemo then.
Congratulations, Nemo, mate. I'm happy for you, mate. So, first, 3 spins, 3 entries into the Christmas Cracker. We have Danny Millington, we have Nemo, and we also have, oh my God, my memory, where were we second? Benson's. There we are, Benson. Well done to all of you, and thank you all for entering. And yeah, that is the wheel done for this evening. It's 9:10. We've got about 10 minutes left here. I want to start by saying, Stacks of Silver, thank you very much for coming on this evening, mate. You've been a fantastic guest. It's been a pleasure having you on.
You're very welcome. I really appreciate coming for with the invite and spending this evening with you, and giving a bit of my history and what I've been doing and where I'm going to go with it. And yeah, it's been brilliant. I think it's always nice to have that little bit of a personal insight to who you're talking to on the chat and things like that. So yeah, thank you ever so much, and thanks for all the great questions from everybody as well. It's been really brilliant.
Absolutely. No, it's been really interesting to learn more about you. We all share the same love of doing better things with our money, stacking, investing. It's really nice to get to know special guests like yourself a little bit more. Who's the person behind the stacking? What's their journey? And at what point in that journey did they go down the rabbit hole, which is stacking? So it's been really interesting to hear more about you guys. And guys, don't forget, on TikTok, if you like your TikTok, check out Stacks of Silver, and on YouTube as well. And the same goes for the world's #1 producer, Diaxis. His link is in the description. I imagine most of you are already subscribed, but if you aren't, go and check him out. Really important. So we are coming towards the end, guys, and I want to touch on something. It's only going to be a quick word on this, but as we all know, some news broke in the last few days, which was really sad to hear. We lost one of our members in Stackers Social, Stephen God's Money, someone who I've had the honor of speaking to multiple times. I've shared conversations with him and enjoyed those conversations, had a good laugh, a real gent. And the news broke that he had sadly passed away. And I just wanted to make a small tribute here, just to say, look, my thoughts and prayers to those close to him, his family and friends, and to all of you guys I know that knew him and were close to him. So I just wanted to pay my respects. And yeah, just to say that, rest in peace to Stephen God's Money. And yeah, I can see that in the chat. Thank you so much, guys, for the comments. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. I'm not the best at knowing what to say in those situations, but it was important for me to touch on that. I know it's affected a lot of people. It's always an eye opener, and yeah, this community always sticks together. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say, and thank you for all the lovely comments that are coming through on the chat just now. So yeah, that's episode 23. One last thing, Stacks of Silver, I have brought back the question for the next week guest. As you know, I mentioned this earlier, mate. Do you have a question which I can ask to next week's guest?
Okay, yes. So I've thought long and hard about this, and I think the question I would like to ask is, if you had to pass on your stack to someone tomorrow, who gets it and why?
Oh, as in like someone in the community, or just like anyone?
Anybody at all. If
Like
you had
someone in the
to,
family?
for any reason, you had to pass on your stack tomorrow, who would get it and why?
Great question. Really good question. I will ask that. Thank you for that, mate.
I think it's probably something that people don't think about while they're stacking, especially with what you've just mentioned as well with Stephen. It inevitably, if you're stacking for long term, that could happen tomorrow to anybody. So to know the answer to that question, I think is a really good kind of exit strategy, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a great question, and yeah, once again, guys, it sucks, doesn't it? Thank you for all these. I can see all the love in the chat. That's what this community does. It comes together. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm going to wrap this up now. Thank you so much to everyone that tuned in. Thank you to Stacks of Silver being a legendary guest for episode 23. And as always, thank you so much, Diaxis, for being the world's #1 producer. Go and enjoy your Chinese, mate. Guys, I hope
Thank you, mate.
that you can all take some good momentum if you can and go into next week. I wish you all a very good week. We'll be back next Sunday, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.